The birth of life in the universe brought about a peculiar phenomenon, that of meaning. There was no reason, no preceding event or logical sequence before we arrived. Albert Camus said, "The moment we die, it is obvious that we do not know how or why." The very principle of causality depends on time, a dimension of reality that appears to us, as living beings, to move in one direction, yet the laws of physics do not determine a direction for time. These laws work just as well in one direction as in the other, and neither direction is privileged. I argued in a previous video that consciousness could very well be nothing more than a biological illusion. But what about our need for rationality and explanation? Suffering awakens this need in human beings. We want to know why we suffer, what caused it to happen, and what we will gain from it. Being able to derive some benefit from suffering allows us to ignore it, or even appreciate it. But sometimes there is no benefit to be gained from it. Our suffering is rain that falls without ever touching the ground. It was at this point that human beings raised their eyes to the sky and began to search. Today, they still have not found an answer. I therefore believe that our need for answers gradually grew throughout our evolution, and that, just like consciousness, it reached our brains so abruptly that cause and effect have become, for us, the language of the universe. Does the universe have a reason to exist? The universe could just as well have not existed, and I do not see how that would be any less logical. Everything is not more logical than nothing, yet here it is. Something prevailed over nothing. I can already see your objection coming. I am using reason to defend the idea that reason itself is a fictional, artificial concept. I'm getting to that. If no concept of meaning or significance exists, then why live? What I believe is that the arrival of life in the universe was the arrival of meaning in the universe. Since our arrival, there has been meaning in things. Things happen for a reason that can be explained by a preceding event. The arrival of life in the universe did not artificially create this concept. It is now a fundamental concept of the universe, more central than the atom or gravity. The laws of physics do not state that time must unfold in one direction or another, yet for us, it unfolds in a particular direction. Time began when it could be experienced and felt, just as the universe began when it could observe itself. What is possible, but which I will not develop in this video, is that life may have always existed, if there are other universes or realities different from the one that began with the Big Bang, ours. For this universe, I believe that meaning entered into existence through the emergence of life somewhere, whether on Earth or elsewhere. If we are the embodiment of reason, then we bear the burden of protecting and promoting it. The only place where we currently have any real influence is Earth. How do we make things logical here, in our own world? We have a duty to put an end to unnecessary suffering, the kind I mentioned earlier, the kind that makes us raise our eyes to the sky, only to see a universe that knows nothing of what we are searching for. We look to the sky in search of meaning, but we are the bearers of meaning. We are the gods of justice. We must reveal ourselves. Nations are currently living in such distress that their cries stain the reputation of the great creator we claim to be. The providers of misery and the enemies of reason are the men who currently have the greatest control over our fate. You know who they are. It is up to us to stop these massacres.